Hey guys, this is how I know I'm not vain. Look at me. I literally thought to myself, I look crappy today. I really need some lipstick. But it's all the way upstairs. So, fuck it. Yep. And that's how you know you're just not vain. You don't care. That's right. I'm about to meet my friend down at the beach. So I'm here live because I wanted to do a live reading with you guys. But it's going to be a quicker one. It's going to be on the quicker side. I've chosen fewer decks, definitely fewer decks than yesterday. But, you know, at the same time, like, let's see what shows up and comes out. Hold on 1 second because I have to go get my book. I know. Shouldn't I have... There you go. Ringing my little bell. These are my pajamas. Dude, it's been that kind of a day. I had to go to a doctor this morning. I'm still trying to figure out how much Lipitor I need, or want for that matter. So it's just been an interesting journey to be the best of myself and have my best life, you know, because there's always these gives and takes in life. And, you know, I think if it was life and death, I could understand maybe giving up, you know, doing some extreme diet where I would not need to take the Lipitor. But I don't want to live the next 40 years of my life on an extreme diet, not being able to eat the foods that I love. I love food. And I know that for health in general, I shouldn't be indulging all the ways that I do, or as often as I do. Let's put it that way. But at the same time, I want the option. You know what I'm saying? So I had a lot to think about, because when you get that right down to it, health is supposed to keep you alive, but there's a difference between being alive and really living. You know, and then that's really what health is, right? It's like the balance between body, heart, and mind. So it's like finding that right balance and finding the tools that help me do that. Because I would let you know right now, if I had to just maintain a fucking diet of like 0 to no carbs, no sugar, and like fish and vegetables for the rest of my life, go fuck yourself. That's not the life I want to live. You know, I think that if I had to, because it was life and death, maybe I would rethink it, but it's not. You know, it's a choice. And, you know, I really got to think, like, what is the life that I want to live look like? And I want to make informed decisions on how I can actually do that. Was literally on your site when the alert popped up. Aw, thanks, man. Well, hi. I love your insights. You're a great oh, you rock, dude. That kind of shit makes me blush. That's so sweet. So you got to really think about, your whole life, not just staying alive. You know, it's not just about staying alive. It's about being alive, you know, like living. So let's get into this. Faux color, yeah. You got through the eclipse? Of course. But I will say that there was a little shaky period. I would think like there was a shaky period. And there was supposed to be a shaky period. Especially for Geminis, because, you know, the sun was in Gemini when the eclipse happened. So I would not be surprised. And Leos would be majorly impacted because, of course, Leo is ruled by the sun no matter where it is. So there's just a few, you know, signs that were probably impacted worse than others. But I think everybody had to go through a time when when their ego took a break. And then you ask yourself the question, well, what am I without my ego? And if that was not a flattering answer or something that you were scared of, that's something to really take note of. Today is Friday and the moon enters Cancer. The moon enters Cancer today. So the moon is in Cancer today, right now. And the Mars entered Leo. Whorehound is an offertory incense for the god Horus. So Horus is an Egyptian god, and whorehound is an offertory incense for the god Horus. The Mars goes into Leo. Mars in Leo is a much favorable position for it, because what it does is it energizes. Like Mars is energized in Leo. It's determined and it's certain of itself, and it has the fortitude to be able to move forward and want to move forward. In Cancer, it doesn't like to move in Cancer. It's difficult. Well, I think all water signs are very difficult for Mars. A very fiery place, you know. It's like it's not his territory, but he does okay in Cancer. But in Leo, it's a much favorable position for him. So expect to want to get a lot more done, or have a lot more motivation, or be more certain about what you want to get done. But remember that Mercury is still in retrograde. And so there's going to be communication errors and failures, and you're going to have more patience. So I would take any big moves off the table until Mercury comes out of retrograde. And by big moves, I mean, are you buying a freaking house? You might want to take it off the table. And are you selling a house? Delay it a little bit. Are you signing a new contract? Delay it a little bit. Delay it till after Mercury retrograde, because you'll be able to read through things and focus better. And then there won't be so many typos or maybe things that you don't understand. It's actually just the reception of the communication that gets or how we communicate that gets off during retrogrades. And of course, technology associated with communication can also fail. Though I don't think on any large scale, because I think large scale tech is Uranus. So it's just kind of a little easier to make the right decisions once the retrograde period goes behind us. So big decisions, right? Of course, we have to make decisions every single day. Anyway, I'm doing the weekly astrology forecast I'm working on it now. I'm researching it, and I'll record later on tonight. And it's going to be a hell of a week next week, especially for relationships. This is really when we get real and dig really deep into how do we want to be loved, and who do we want to be loved by, and is what we currently have in our life, not just romantic relationships, but any kind of partnerships. Because Pluto is in a really compromising, an aspect that's really compromising to Venus. And it puts her under a lot of pressure to say, yeah, but is this true? Is this honest? Is this real? Are you being real with yourself in being part of this? Or do you have to, kisses? Kisses? Come on. Kiss it. Kisses. Kisses. Just a little shit. Are you really happy? Is this really what you want? Or are you settling for reasons that aren't good enough? And I think that's kind of really what where the pressure is. Just like I talked to you about my diet, you have to kind of up front, the relationship may look good. All the boxes may be checked. But then when you get right down to it, but am I happy? And how long can I sustain being okay in the face of this? How long can I sustain okay? How long do I want to? It's gonna be in your face next week. And so the full weekly astrology forecast comes out tomorrow morning, bright and early, Saturday at 6 a.m. It's released over on Astrology Motivation. Be sure that you are subscribed and that you have got turned on all notifications so that you know when I upload it. Of course, people are not usually up at 6 a.m. on Saturday unless they haven't gone to bed yet. And then that's a good weekend. But usually, y'all can catch it around 9. East Coast, it's a little bit better. Over in Europe, it's much better because it's the afternoon by that point. So yeah, I try to release it at a time when it's actually really good for everybody and everybody can access it. Saturdays is just not the most convenient time for anybody, but I think it's the best time for the information. I don't like to release it a week ahead of time. I know I could read the charts a week ahead of time, but I don't know. I don't want to. I don't like it. I like it doing the current energy. Anyway, let's get into the reading, dude. Here I am talking, and I got places to go, people to see. I'm meeting my friend down at the dog beach. Anyway, here we go. Heartbreak. Heartbreak on a circumstance from the past. Heartbreak. Sadness. Heartbreak. Heartbreak. Six of Cups, heartbreak. Maybe heartbreak on the home front or from the past. From your home, like it would be in the past. Heartbreak from or where you live. Local news, like news from where you came from, where you were born. What is this? Heartbreak. Okay. This is all the dreams that you're working on. Dreams that you were working on, stuff that you were trying to manifest. But in some ways, this could be disappointment. Not just disappointment, but like, this is somebody who wants something to get something, does something, like offers to give something. This could be an Aquarius person that you're dealing with too. Somebody who makes an offer that sounds nice, but it really on the back end is for their sake. Okay. FYI. And then we have the Queen of Wands, who is a really beautiful energy. She's kind of a diva. Not a diva, actually she's not, but she's very celebrity. She's very much, I would say starlet. She's somebody that gets a lot of attention. She gets a lot of attention because she's exceptional at what she does, and she's extremely focused on what she does. You know, people are looking at her. She's not looking at them. She doesn't care about the kind of attention that she's getting. It could very well be somebody's trying to advance their self through association with you. And then there is this bright idea, this brilliant idea, this idea that is demanding that you take action now. That's the central energy. So this new idea, maybe an idea that you just had. Four of Pentacles is here. And that's usually like, how is your greed or your fear of not having money? How has it trapped you? How has it held you back? How has it held you prisoner? You have the King of Wands that's flown out, which is also creation. He's sitting right beneath the Queen of Wands. This is divine counterparts, people who have the same kind of energy. And it's really beautiful if you look at this, because if you could imagine the two of them, they're looking at each other. His back is to us. He's focused on what he can create. And her eyes are closed, focused on what she is creating. This is like somebody is looking at you and seeing you. Well, if you are a man, it's almost like you're looking at somebody and really like seeing them as somebody you could create with. And if you're a female, you are in the presence of somebody who you can trust enough to close your eyes around. Kind of somebody maybe that you manifested or you imagined. Then we have moving away from, being able to move on from. And interestingly enough, I think what you're moving on from is heartbreak that may have come from being in your home place or at your home space or where you originated from. Past heartbreak, let's put it that way. Yeah, suddenly there's options and there's forward movement and there's progress and there's, yeah. And clarity. clarity. We have the Ace of Wands on the table, Ace of Swords on the table. Suddenly there's clarity. Suddenly Spirit is sort of like helping you out and bringing you, showing you the way, showing you where you have to head. This is, you're finally through the portal. You're starting something new. This is the beginning. This is not the end or the finishing of your old cycle. This is the beginning of a new one. And even though there may be fears, you're willing to face them. It's like you're waking up and realizing basically what you've been afraid of for so long, and that there's something on the other side of it. It's interesting how both of these cards are looking out. You know, they're looking out to this guy, what he can't have because he's decided to stay inside with his money, and this guy, what he wants to have and what all his fears have blocked him from. And so these things are very clear to him now, and now he's ready to move on. You know, this is really about preparing yourself to move forward and take a chance. Like being ready to take a chance on something new, associated probably with you have a lot of something that you have a lot of passion for. Also, it could just be very able to move on from heartbreak and disappointment. Maybe somebody who had exploited you in the past and not really valued you or valued your worth. Creating a kind of new space and a new life, and ending up in a place where you're just so ready to take a chance. And it's not necessarily a chance because you are prepared for it. Okay. All right. Let's see what we have with the Moonology cards coming out. We have your commitment is being tested. Not anymore. Expect powerful change. Interesting. Expect powerful change. New moon eclipse. We just had a new moon eclipse. And this came out upside down. So I'm going to tell you what the initial reaction of me is that you're not being tested anymore. It's finished. It's done. It's over. Your test is finished. This is a new beginning for you. You've walked through. And if you've been feeling a little weird, it could just be because you've never been here before. You're in a new space. So you may perceive that things are really going to go bad. I've been feeling this ominous feeling of something going wrong. I don't think it's going to go wrong. I think you're uncertain of your space. Roots and loneliness. You're not going to be lonely anymore. Maybe because you're making new roots, right? You're making new roots, or you finally found somebody to make new roots with, or you're going to get to see people that you've missed from your past, or it's almost like now your roots are informing your strength. So there's no need to be lonely anymore, right? I think this is new roots starting to grow into a new direction, to a new place. Of course, this could also be personal isolation. I just don't think you're missing. You're not looking back anymore. You're not looking back at the Six of Cups. These old ideals that you had. You're just not looking back at them anymore. Imagination, intuition, trust your intuition. That's the most complex part of next week, is that especially when the moon moves into Virgo, not because Virgos are not intuitive, they're very intuitive, but because of it's compromised in specific positions. It's square to the sun, first of all, and then it's like directly opposite Neptune. And so just because of where everything is falling, remember how I've been telling you guys, over these past 2 weeks, intuition is your best friend. Next week, middle of next week, it's almost like intuition goes dark for a second because of the position of the moon, and it gets real scary. So faith is your only friend. Intuition, trust your intuition. But right now, today, trust your intuition. If you're feeling something and it's vibing, I gotta say, you're right on. And vacation. You might be going somewhere. You might be taking a trip. You might be ready to take off and go somewhere. Go on an adventure. Go on an adventure. Go on an adventure. Let yourself go. At least consider it. We have, I will inspire. In other words, people are going to be jealous of your ass. Not just jealous, but like, it's almost like your actions and your behaviors are actually giving other people strength. And then I will protect. So you're still providing for, you're still taking care of. It's almost like, yeah, I will protect, I will guide. You're taking care of somebody. This could also be just like leading the way through your example, leading through example of how to live your life. I feel confident that I am somebody to be looked at and seen, and I will forgive, which is I will be untethered from the past. I will not keep myself. Hey, Joanna, appreciate you. I'll catch the replay. Yeah, definitely. Thank you. I will forgive. Because it's like, it's almost like now in some ways it's easier to forgive because you realize just how beautiful what's in front of you is. And forgiveness is about untethering yourself from the past. That's what it is. So that's what we're kind of doing. If there was some heartbreak or some upset or shit that you didn't like shit that just was not kosher, it's almost like all of that's done now. It doesn't matter to you. You're at a point in your life where you're not thinking or talking about or constantly replaying the old shit that you went through because it's just dead. It's over with. It has no power over you anymore. And that's a beautiful thing. It's like you finally cleared out your past. Spiritual union. Check that out. This is about finding people with like energy, like-mindedness, like-minded people who think like you, people who want to be around you, and people who you could have an emotional connection with. So this, if you're looking for new love, it could be coming in today or Saturday. It could be a potential. Yeah, when you have potential. Mental conflict. Okay, I'm interested to see what that is. But it could also just be like, mental conflict. If something's becoming very clear to you because of a new opportunity in front of you, the challenges that you have are becoming extremely clear to you. And it's interesting because you're willing to face your mental conflict now. You know that you have it, you see it, you start to understand it, but you don't hate yourself for it, you don't judge yourself for it. You're forgiving the past, you're forgiving even your inabilities of the past. And in forgiving them, you are taking power from them. They're not able to control you anymore. And so you can look at them kind of objectively and say, okay, sword by sword, I'm ready to get you out of my way. It could also just mean that you don't know how you're going to move forward, or you're not certain. And, you may not be certain for a while. Certainty is not in the air right now because there's too much muddled. But what I will say is if you feel certain right now, that's a sign from God. Like that's been set up for years and nothing could put that aside. Nothing could do any harm to that. But really, mostly, this is a time of contemplation. Mental conflict could also just mean contemplation, trying to understand things that you haven't been able to understand before. Building blocks. Isn't that beautiful? Like these are the small steps that you're taking now to start something new. It's not the whole completed building. Don't be disappointed if you don't have, your penthouse suite yet. You're still building the blocks to get yourself there. The point is, the mark of success now is not where you're living, it's how you're living. Are you making progress? That's what it is. And progress is slow right now. Time to go. Shoo! It's time to go. And I really feel like that's literal. I feel like it's time to just get out and go someplace else, go someplace new. And once again, it could be traveling. Traveling by plane. Traveling is weird right now because of Mercury retrograde. But it's also could just mean traveling on, moving on. Tanzanite, ready to love again. Hello. You've healed from the past enough to open your heart to new love. That's really interesting energy. And life lessons. You can break free from recurring negative patterns by praying to know the lesson and blessing they contain. And that's what this is. That's what this is. Let me read that again because it's important. You can break free from recurring negative patterns by praying to know the lesson and blessing they contain. So that's how you get out. You pray. You say, help me understand what I am supposed to learn from the suffering. Because I put myself through this suffering. On some level, I chose this suffering. Why did I choose it? What was it supposed to teach me? Spirit, please make that clear. So A, you don't continue the suffering, and B, so that it is worthwhile. And I think in a lot of ways, that's what's happening to us. Suddenly we realize why we had to go through that much pain. Suddenly we realize why we had to suffer the way that we did. We understand it on that, from that lesson perspective, from the perspective of it was a lesson. Now we understand why we had to experience what we experienced. You know, when you meet the one or somebody that treats you good, all of a sudden it becomes so clear why you had to go through the pain that you went through. Because could you even have recognized that otherwise? And even between the beginning of this week and the end of this week, there's a big change. And because this was really about, you know, what was it? Escapades. The return of the exes, and not just the return of them themselves, but return of those negative behavior patterns that makes you choose the wrong person. But I feel like a lot of you guys passed the test. You had a test earlier this week to choose either go back to your old person or to choose somebody that was like your person and make the same choices you would have made before. And you said no, because I know I deserve better now and I want something different. Universe heard that and locked that in and said, I can't trick this bitch no more. She's smart now. She's smart. Or he's smart. I can't trick this motherfucker anymore. Ding, 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 ding. You get the grade. You get to graduate because you passed the fucking test. Just by realizing, but I know where my heart is. And it's not with my ego, and it's not with my pussy or my dick. I know what makes me feel safe, controlled, healthy, happy. All that shit that I learned from childhood, that craziness, I've recognized it. I've identified it. I've seen it. I know it. I'm not repeating it. I'm not going to make those same choices. Am I making the same choices? Am I tempted? I'm tempted, but it's almost like I can see myself reaching for that extra cookie. And think about it. Today, I will actually eat the extra cookie. I'm just gonna let you know. But this is in terms of, this is really in terms of relationships. A lot of it has to do with relationships. And I told you that from the beginning. As soon as I saw that Pluto, was going into retrograde between the two Venus signs, between Taurus and Libra, I was like, all of this is about changing behavioral patterns within relationships. All of this. Anyway, let's go. Sacred source, we, your angels, are here to remind you of your magnificence. There you go. You are literally an angel in the making, a being of eternal love and light, forever one with God, Goddess, and all creation. Forgiveness. Second time we got that. I will forgive. Let the past go. Clear your heart and mind through forgiveness. Middle path. Embrace both sides. The middle path is the road to a balanced and more peaceful life. In other words, the middle path is the path that you decide. It's the path that you choose. You're not polarized. You're not stuck. You're like, I don't have to choose either of the extremes because neither of them make any sense to me. So if I choose to blaze my own trail. Surrender. There is no point in pushing the barrel up such a steep hill. Go back to the start. Surrender your expectations. There is an easier way. When the time is right, a new path will appear. This is about a new path. There are paths opening up. Don't let anybody polarize you using fear to convince you that you can only do it one way. That is so stupid. There's an infinite amount of possibilities. Do not let anybody polarize you into thinking, no, you have to do it this way. Mindfulness. Be mindful of another's feelings and needs. Someone needs your love right now. A loving thought is all it takes. And then we have inspiration. A new idea comes to you like a gentle whisper inside your heart. Listen and take action. This is inspiration from high above. So just if you haven't gotten the inspiration yet, it's okay. It'll come. Don't worry about it. The delivery's on the way, baby. You don't have to worry. Settle in. You're fine. You're fine. It'll come. Don't search for it. Trust. Trust. And through trusting, it arrives. I love you guys. TGIF. Happy weekend. Healthy weekend. Fun weekend. Lively weekend. Interesting weekend. Relaxing weekend. You choose or have a little bit of each. It's a buffet, baby. I love you guys. And I hope he was younger and better sex. Oh, God. Y'all is having your own conversations. I'm not going to get in the middle. So I love you guys. I'll be back here on Monday. And please remember that weekly astrology forecast comes out tomorrow at 6 a.m. I'll see you next week. You're welcome.